Well, hello, friends. Welcome to the COGO podcast. My name is R.W. Moody. I'm the Associate State Pastor here at COGO Ministries, and you are listening and or watching the COGO podcast. So don't forget, the purpose of this podcast is to move leaders in the state of Ohio through bite-sized conversations about ministry, leadership, and growth. And so we would encourage you just in these few moments to take a step and lean into your God call. And hopefully there's something in this content of this podcast today that you can put to work right there in your local setting. And so as you can see, or maybe you have to wait to hear, depending on how you're taking in this podcast, we have with us today Becky Heller. Hello, Becky.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
How's it going today, Becky?
Pretty good.
Hey, we are recording today's podcast from your office.
Yeah. Welcome.
There's all your stuff and there's more of your stuff, but
Yeah.
it's your office.
It's my office.
Well, Becky's today, we're going to talk a little bit about Canva, which you are like the resident expert in, I think. But before we jump into this whole idea of Canva, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, and most importantly, how you came to know Jesus.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So we live in the Columbus area. I am married to Tim Heller, who is on staff at Meadow Park, and originally born and raised in Oklahoma. So
Boomer sooner?
Yeah, I guess by marriage.
Okay.
I have to be. Yeah. So more importantly, thunder, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
No.
Okay. So, yeah, so we live in the Columbus area. We have 2 dogs. We have Max and our newest addition, Rosie.
Who is a cutie?
She's so cute. She's a little mini poodle. She's red. She's ornery.
Yeah.
But she's cute. And, yeah, we serve at Meadow Park. Love it here in Ohio. We're excited to be here. And I think that's a little bit about myself. How I came to know Jesus, I grew up in the Church of God, actually. Yep. So my mom served in many different capacities at the church, whether it was on council, whether it was volunteering, teaching Sunday school. So I always joke, I grew up as a pastor's kid without being a pastor's kid because we were there. We were always one of the first ones there, always one of the first to leave. And unless someone was bleeding or dying or in the emergency room, like, we were at church. That's just where we were. And now that I'm older, I'm so thankful for that because it has shaped, my relationship with the Lord. And so grew up in the church, always grew up in a Christian home. And but I really don't think I claimed my faith as my own until really about college.
Yeah.
So, but throughout my whole story, God's provision on my life is just, you can just see his handprint everywhere. And so I'm just very thankful for God's provision.
Fantastic.
In my life. Yeah.
I know that you are a big believer in communication.
Yes.
Like you are, social media, communicating things out. I know communication is important to you. So why is the communication aspect of ministry, why is that so important?
Yeah. So many churches are really, really great at doing incredible ministry and impacting their congregation and their communities. But what happens if you don't have good communication is that people will miss those opportunities. Yeah. They're going to miss the opportunities to grow and to serve and to encounter Jesus in a deeper way. And so that's why communication is so important. It's because people have to know what is going on and how they can get connected and involved. In growing their relationship with Jesus. So it's not really just about announcements though, right? Yeah. Like it really is about cultivating that environment of, again, going deeper in their relationship with Jesus.
It helps them to become part of the story of the congregation or life and faith, or even the broader church. So now I know we're going to talk about Canva. Yeah. Because you are, like I said, you're the resident Canva person here at COGO Ministry. So what is Canva? If somebody's watching this or listening to this podcast today and they have no clue what Canva is, like, tell us what it's all about.
Yeah. So Canva is an online graphic design platform that is really easy to use. So what they did was they took this, skill set that was really meant for professionals. And before, you had to be familiar with, Adobe or, Publisher for people who used Publisher back in the day, right? So they have now made it just really easy for anybody to use.
Okay.
And so it allows you to be able to create this professional looking content, whether you're, using it for print materials or digital, be able to do this online without really any design skills at all. So what I appreciate about Canva so much is that it's just so easy to use. And for nonprofits, they do offer a free Canva Pro account.
Okay.
So if you are not on a Canva Pro account and you are considered a nonprofit, go sign up for that today. It's very easy to do.
Okay. So. I have used Canva about this much.
Yeah.
And I will have to say, the ability to move things around or layer it, even the non-tech savvy person, if you're intuitive a little bit to just kind of how things can come together, it is pretty easy to use. I will say that.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, so even if you're just starting at the beginning, you'll get in there and you'll start to figure out a couple of things. And then as you get more and more comfortable with it, you will learn, because there are advanced features within Canva. Yeah. And so I feel like it really helps grow and, grow you as a designer, whether you want to claim that for yourself or not, but just that it does give you the tools that you need to create some advanced designs as well. So
how, Becky, can Canva best be utilized as a tool for ministry?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was sitting here thinking about making a list, and I was like, this list could go on forever. There are so many ways. So it's not just for social media, but I think one of the other things that you can use it for is printing material. So if you are having outlines or packets or, volunteer, I'm thinking about VBS coming up right around the corner for so many of us, right? So if you're having a volunteer handbook or you need to put together volunteer resources, you can do that. You can create sermon series graphics for it. Yeah. You can do slideshows for, creating the graphics for your before and after, or even during your Sunday morning services, events, anything for events, flyers, of course, social media posts as well. You can use it for even creating your bulletins for people who still print bulletins. You can do it on there as well. Business cards for your staff.
The list can go
on and on and on.
Yeah.
On and on and on.
I think what's important to realize is, again, it's one of those things where if you can get access to Canva and just play around with it a little bit, that you can find how whatever's going on in the life of your congregation, there's a way to communicate that. And I mean, honestly, from, like you were saying, from social media all the way down to print, it's super helpful. But so if somebody's watching this, and they are a self-claimed non-techie person.
Yeah.
You know who you are. If you're watching or listening to this podcast, you know who you are. So what is your what is your assessment of the level of difficulty of Canva? Is it pretty user-friendly? Do you need to be more tech savvy? I know we've kind of talked about that, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the reasons that Canva became so popular so fast is because of the user friendliness of the platform itself. So again, it really is for the beginner. It really is for the professional graphic designer as well, because there are so many levels and tools and things that you can learn, but it's just laid out in a way that's so user friendly that if you are not ready for all of the advanced stuff, you don't have to get into all of that. And the platform itself comes with thousands of templates. So you don't have to be starting from scratch every single time.
Right.
You can just quickly say, I need a social media flyer, I need a business card, or I need a handout or something. And it will already, give you something to work with. The other thing I love about Canva too is they have a feature called brand kits. And so this is important because you can actually put in your church's colors, fonts, logos. So then that way, whatever you're creating, it's consistent across the board. So you can just enter all of that in under the settings. And then when you're actually designing, you'll see it on the left-hand side. You can just click brand kit. I think now there's even a feature where you can literally just click it and it will apply your colors and stuff. You might need to change some stuff around, but so I love that because, we want to still make sure that everything that we're creating is pretty consistent across
Right.
the board, right? We do want to make sure that it doesn't look like a different person created every single thing for your church, right? So, and there's also courses on Canva too. They have like a whole learning section.
Oh,
that
I
you
did
can
not
go
know
in.
that.
Yeah, you can go in and like dive in and get some tutorials there. Of course, YouTube's a great place as well.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why it became so popular so fast is just
Okay.
because of how user-friendly it really is.
So friends, if you're watching or listening to this podcast, like there's no reason why you couldn't at least, I don't know, play around with it and see what you come up with. Yeah. So Becky, we're all about discipleship this year in Ohio. So when it comes to this idea of Canva and utilizing Canva in ministry, what word of challenge would you give to leaders in Ohio when it comes to utilizing that as a practice, as a tool for practicing discipleship?
Yeah. I would say don't view communication separately from discipleship.
Mm.
So it's one of the ways that it happens.
Yeah.
People are constantly being discipled by the messages that they are getting, the content they're seeing, all of that every single day. And so as church leaders, we have the opportunity to figure out what are we going to communicate
Right.
online, especially in today's world, right? Where we can actually say, hey, I'm going to interrupt this feed with something that is encouraging, that's life-giving, that's pointing people to Christ. And, whether it's an invitation to, hey, come to our event, or maybe it's sharing a testimony,
Yeah.
or, again, just like general encouragement or a Bible verse. So it's not separate. It is a path of discipleship.
Yeah.
And so, tools like Canva make that easier than ever before. You don't have to be the designer. And if you are, if you have someone even who has an eye for it, like empower them to use it, set them up for success that way, and invest in them as a volunteer. But really the goal here isn't to create perfect graphics. The goal is to help people get to their next step with with Jesus. And so, whether that's, again, a flyer, a social media post, a sermon slide, whatever it is, we want to help people connect more with Jesus.
Yeah. So last year in 2025 at Start Fresh, you led a breakout session entirely on Canva.
Yeah.
And so we're going to put your outline, is that right?
Yeah, I did. I created like a little reference guide. Like, hey, here are the things that you should know if you're if you're not tech savvy at all, or if you don't have, maybe you are, a little bit like, I'm familiar, I can at least work my way around. There's just some good guidelines of, my tips and tricks to get started in Canva.
So we're going to post Becky's tips and tricks of Canva in the show notes here on this episode. So make sure you click on it. And honestly, if you have questions about Canva, like you can email Becky at the COGO office. It's Becky, BECKY, at COGO.church. She checks her emails on Wednesdays when she's in the office. And I know that she'd be willing to write back to you and give you some help. So that's not a problem there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Becky, thank you for enlightening us and helping us. Friends, this is a great tool for us to utilize in your local setting. We utilize it pretty regularly here at COGO Ministries, so we're more than willing to help you out. Until the next time we drop an episode, may God use you in incredible ways to point people to Jesus. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.